JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Hi guys. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now on to the news. 5 shot, 1 fatally in St. James gun attack. 5 people were shot, 1 fatally, after gunmen opened fire on patrons at a shop in Bodman Hill district in Lilliput, St. James, Tuesday night. The deceased has been identified as 25-year-old Tevin Scott, otherwise called Prince, a construction worker from Bunkers Hill in Trelawney and Lilliput, St. James. The injured persons, all males from the community, have been treated at hospital, the police said. Reports are that around 9:20 p.m., the 5 were among patrons at the shop when a silver Honda-Fit motor car drove up. Men aboard the vehicle reportedly opened gunfire at the patrons and subsequently sped off. When the shooting subsided, residents found Scott lying face down, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. It was later discovered that 4 other people had been shot. The injured parties were taken to hospital, where doctors pronounced Scott dead. The others were treated for their injuries. Initial investigations into the attack have revealed that Scott may have been the target of the gunmen. Detectives have allegedly unearthed that Scott was involved in a dispute with men from Bunkers Hill, from where somebody had to flee after their home was burnt down earlier this year. Scott, detectives said, was wanted by the Trelawney police for a case of wounding with intent committed on the same day his family's house was torched. More than 20 spent casings were retrieved from the shooting scene, the police reported. Tell-lie killed during alleged confrontation with police. A man was killed in an alleged confrontation with the police in Sterling, Grange Hill, Westmoreland Wednesday morning. He has been identified as 28-year-old Pete Bowen, otherwise called Tell-lie. According to a police source, the cops went on an early morning operation in Bowen's community. The police said upon attempting to search the premises, the man allegedly fired at them. According to the police source, the lawmen, in fear of their lives, took evasive action. When the shooting subsided, Bowen was seen suffering from gunshot wounds. He was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. Taxi operator murdered in Rocky Valley, Stony Hill. A well-known taxi operator was shot and killed on Wednesday morning in the community of Rocky Valley, Stony Hill, St. Andrew. He is known by the aliases Banky and Crocs. The incident occurred about 5:20 a.m. as the now deceased was about to begin work. It is understood that he was shot in the head and died on the spot. Residents were awakened by loud explosions and summoned the police. This is the 3rd murder in that section of the St. Andrew North Police Division over the past 5 days. There was a fatal shooting in Temple Hall on Saturday morning. Later that night, there was another fatal shooting in the Golden Spring Square. The Constant Spring Criminal Investigation Branch is probing these deadly attacks. 1 dead, another detained after fight at a construction site in St. James. 1 man is dead and another is in police custody following a fight at a construction site at roadsides in St. James Monday afternoon. The deceased has been identified as 21-year-old Sedno Edmondson, otherwise called 12, a mason from Beirut in Rose Heights. The suspect, who is 19, is from the said community. Reports are that around 3:34 p.m., the 2 men were at a construction site in the community when the suspect took up a bottle containing rum and left. It is alleged that Edmondson got upset and an argument subsequently developed. During the argument, the suspect told Edmondson about his mother. Edmondson, with a shovel in his hand, attempted to hit the suspect, but he ran to his yard and returned with a knife. Edmondson, the police said, again attempted to hit the suspect, and residents tried to separate them. However, Edmondson failed to adhere and swung the shovel at the suspect, who used his left hand to block it, resulting in him receiving bruises and swelling to the same hand. Edmondson was then stabbed in his abdomen. He fell to the ground, police said, but got back up, held onto the suspect, and swung the shovel at him again. Edmondson was again stabbed in the region of his neck. The suspect fled the scene, threw away the knife, and visited the Mount Salem police station to report the matter. He was seen with bruises and swellings on his left hand and under his left eye. Residents transported Edmondson to the Conway Regional Hospital, where doctors pronounced him dead. The suspect has since been taken into police custody as they conduct investigations. Businessman killed in Smithfield, Westmoreland. A Westmoreland businessman was shot and killed at his place of establishment in Smithfield in the parish on Tuesday afternoon. He has only been identified by his alias Doss. It is understood that many in the motor car alighted and shot the now deceased man multiple times. He was pronounced dead at hospital. According to a police source, the late businessman was the complainant in a gun court matter. Teen held for a gun found on the pillow. An 18-year-old man was arrested following the discovery of an illegal gun at his home at the Barracks Road in Withorn, Westmoreland on Monday. The man, an AC technician, was held after the authorities conducted a raid at his home, the police said. Reports are that around 3 p.m., a team of police officers acting on information went to the home of the suspect and with a warrant in search of illegal guns and ammunition. A search was conducted of his bedroom where one M&P Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 5 9mm live rounds and one spent casing was found under a pillow on top of his bed. He was arrested and taken to the Savlamar police station along with the gun and placed in custody pending further investigations. Man accused of killing Canadian girlfriend offered $2 million bail. A man accused of killing a Canadian woman said to be his girlfriend was offered bail in the amount of $2 million in the Hanover Parish Court on Tuesday. Eric Collins is charged with the murder of Canadian April Labine while also facing charges of possession of prohibited weapon and using a firearm to commit a felony. It was offered bail by Judge Sasha Mary Smith Ashley after she heard submissions from attorneys representing Collins. It is reported that between approximately 8:45 p.m. on April 16, 2024 and around 9:30 the following morning, Labine was shot dead at her rental property in Elgin Town, Hanover, after an argument ensued between her and the accused. Collins is represented by defense counsel Christopher Townsend, Danny Gooden, and Danny Reed of TWP Attorneys at Law. He is to return to court on June 18, 2024. 5 gas station workers and a cafe cashier charged by CTOC over debit credit card fraud scheme. 5 St. Catherine women who worked at a gas station and a female cashier at a cafe have been charged by the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation branch CTOC for allegedly fraudulently using the card information of persons to steal over $1.1 million. Charged with simple larceny, conspiracy to defraud, and possession of identity information are 19-year-old Therese Douglas of New Nursing, Twickenham Park, 25-year-old Aisha Campbell, a customer service representative of High Mountain in Bog Walk, 27-year-old Onika Morrison of Princessfield District, Linstead, 37-year-old Latoya Walker, a customer service representative of Gordon Penn, and a 39-year-old Cheryl White, a pump attendant of Kitson Town. Also charged is 39-year-old Shari Tolo, a cashier of Thunder Pathway, Seaview Gardens, St. Andrew. It is been alleged that Tolo, while being employed as a cashier at a cafe, took pictures of debit and credit cards of some customers, which she then allegedly sent to her accomplices, who used the card's information to transact unauthorized activities. Investigations led to her arrest. Tolo was subsequently charged following an interview session in the presence of her attorney. The police report that the 5 women who worked at a gas station allegedly conducted several unauthorized transactions by entering card information without the presence of a physical debit or credit card. The fraud was detected by the banks of customers who reported that their cards were compromised. The women were arrested, and after an interview session in the presence of their lawyer, they were charged. All 6 women are booked to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday, June 11. Meanwhile, the police's fraud squad is advising cardholders to always keep sight of their cards when transacting business. By so doing, it limits the possibility of the card being compromised. 50 people killed by security forces so far this year. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, says 50 people have been shot and killed by the security forces since the start of the year. 6 of those fatal shootings occurred between yesterday and today. Up to this time last year, 41 people had been killed by the security forces, 39 of whom were killed by the police. Indicom says members of the investigative team are still completing inquiries into this morning's incident in Kingston, in which 4 men were killed in the vicinity of King and Charles Streets. The men have not yet been officially identified. The police said they were attacked by gunmen in the area and returned the fire. They say 5 guns were recovered. Indicom says it was also informed that a police officer from another responding team was injured by another group of men and is being treated. Meanwhile, Indicom says its investigative team is also completing inquiries into the shooting of 29-year-old Pete Bowen during a police operation in Stirling District in Grangeville. It's also probing yesterday's fatal shooting by the police of 19-year-old Kevon Bahali in the community of Waterford in St. Catherine. The police reported that upon entering a house, based on information received, a man was seen in a room, pointed a gun in their direction, and in return, they fired at the man. Indicom says it was not informed of a body-worn camera being issued, assigned, or used in any of the incidents. As part of the response requirements, Indicom says its forensic personnel examine, process, and package the evidential material recovered from the incident scenes. The hands of the deceased men are swabbed for DNA testing and their bodies photographed pending post-mortem examination. It says all officers who were involved in the 3 incidents will be required to provide a statement in relation to their incident and were advised to attend Indicom to be interviewed in relation to their involvement in the fatal shootings. Plot to stage murders robbery backfired, prosecution argues. The prosecution on Tuesday argued that an attempt to give the impression that robbery was the motive for the murders of Simone Campbell-Collymore and the taxi operator Winston Walters backfired as it led the police to the shooters and the 4 men, including Campbell-Collymore's husband Omar, now on trial for the crime. They shaped it like a robbery. It is a good thing because we will know where the perpetrators went. Thank God there's no such thing as a perfect crime. Simone's cell phone was tracked back to the community of Brook Valley. At 4:02 p.m., her father was trying to call her. The Lockhart Avenue cell tower was the last place Simone's phone pinged. Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Andrea Martin Swiby, told the 7-member jury as she wrapped up her closing arguments. Martin Swiby pointed to testimony given by Wade Blackwood, one of the shooters, that after the murders was committed, his accomplice, a man known only as Jim and who is now dead, had turned back and taken a bag from the taxi that was driven by Walters. The bag contained Campbell-Collymore's cell phone and that helped cops to track the accused. According to Blackwood, it was informed that the mission was to make the killings appear to be a robbery. Blackwood had earlier pleaded guilty to the crime and in 2021 was sentenced to life in prison with eligibility for parole after 35 years. He received an 8-year sentence for the gun. However, he struck a plea deal with the Crown earlier this year and his sentence was reduced to 20 years on each count in exchange for his testimony against Collymore, Michael Adams, Shaquilla Edwards, and Dwayne Pink. The 4 men are each charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of conspiracy to murder. Campbell-Collymore and Walters were gunned down by 2 men on Stanley Terrace in Red Hills, St. Andrew, on January 2, 2018. Blackwood told you what he saw and what he heard, the prosecutor said on Tuesday, adding that Campbell-Collymore did not try to set up anything against her husband. It was all in the other direction, the prosecutor said, as she reminded the jury that Blackwood had told the trial that Collymore told him what to say when he decided to plead guilty. Collymore allegedly told Blackwood to explain that Campbell-Collymore wanted to kill him, but it backfired. Blackwood claimed that Collymore promised him a truck to put into his father's business. However, when Collymore took the stand last week, he said that he never spoke to Blackwood about anything, despite sharing a cell with him for almost 6 months. Let us go back to the bullpen at the Halfway Tree Court, Martin Swiby said on Tuesday, where Blackwood said that on the first appearance, all the accused were present. This was where he said he met Mr. Collymore. He said that Michael Adams showed him Collymore and said, "This is the man who gave me the contract to kill his wife." When Adams pointed on him, he remained silent and did not deny it. Mr. Blackwood asked Collymore why he wanted to kill his wife, and Collymore gave him a look. Blackwood was moved to cell 1 at a Rice Remand Center and was in that cell for about 5 months. Do you believe that Mr. Collymore said not a word to the man he shared a cell with? Collymore even promised him a truck to put in his father's business. Was he in the business of handing out treats? Martin Swiby said, urging the jury to look deep into the evidence. After the prosecution closed, Attorney Lord Diane Jobson, who is representing Collymore, began her closing arguments. JBN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.